Hi, this is Jeff Zeig, and here I am in the training room at the Milton H. Erickson Foundation in Phoenix, Arizona, with another 5-minute tip for therapists, how to be a better therapist. This sequence that I've been talking about, this is the third in a sequence about metaphor. I describe different metaphors, I describe different types of metaphors. Now, let's think about the possibilities of making metaphor applicable when you're doing therapy. So we could use a metaphor, something that represents something else, by using a tone. For example, the patient comes in and says, "I'm sad," and you say you're feeling, "Oh." And you're using a sound as a metaphor to convey your empathic understanding of another person's state. Or the person comes in and says, "I'm feeling down today," and you say, "Well, you'd like to feel and you're using a metaphor to suggest a solution state that the patient may want to be in, but it's a tonal metaphor. Now, your choice of a metaphor doesn't need to just be a tonal metaphor. There's other types of metaphors that you can use, and you could use a postural metaphor. You could say to somebody, "Oh, right now it seems like you're feeling," and what you really want to feel is. Now, why would we do that? Why would we use a tonal metaphor? Why would we use a gestural metaphor instead of using words? Well, it has to do with our evolutionary sociobiology. Communication in the animal kingdom is certainly not based on using words. Communication in the animal kingdom is based on signification. Every emotion can be expressed in a sound. There's a sound that is specific to every emotion, whether or not the sound is made. Every emotion can be expressed with a gesture. There's a gesture for every emotion, whether or not that gesture is made. If we want to reach into deeper areas of the human brain, if we want to reach into the limbic system, then we're going to use communication that is limbically designed. From all animals communicate by using limbic communication. Fish communicate, they figure out a way of schooling together. Lizards communicate. Birds certainly communicate with sounds. Lower mammals, they communicate with sounds and gestures. So if we want to reach, if we think that problems are located somewhere in limbic areas of the brain, we might want to use communication that resonates more deeply with deeper structures in the brain, limbic communication. Now, Milton Erickson, uncredited, would often use the symbolic use of, for example, hypnotic phenomena. So if you're a hypnotist and you're doing something like an arm levitation, you want the person to feel a lack of volition, like their hand, their arm is moving effortlessly towards their face and they're not even concentrating on it. Now, if you're doing an arm levitation in this way, you're not really communicating anything metaphorically or symbolically. So depending on what Erickson wanted to communicate, he might do an arm levitation this way, or he might do an arm levitation this way, or he might do an arm levitation this way, because the gesture not only has literal meaning, it also has idiomatic meaning. And we can begin to create more density in the communication by using the symbolic use of hypnotic phenomena, using the metaphoric aspect of communication. And as we make the communication more dense, we're orienting toward, we're allowing the client to activate, to realize subjective meaning. So much of psychotherapy is about helping people to move things into the world of subjective meaning where they can activate as agents on their own behalf. When we begin to use metaphor, when we recognize how to use figurative language, when we realize how we can use signification, we can empower our communication anytime that it is that we want to help somebody to realize a concept, to change their state. This is Jeff Zeig in Phoenix, Arizona, with another 5-minute therapy tip for therapists. Thank you.